Hello, 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 everyone. Come on into the webinar. My name is Linda Peavy, and I'm going to be your hostess for this afternoon, where we are going to talk about how you get grants for your Black-owned business or your Black-led nonprofit. All right, so I am in, oh my gosh, believe it or not, sunny Northeast Ohio. I'm in the land, not too far from Cleveland, Ohio, where for us, it is a balmy 43 degrees, because if you know anything about Northeast Ohio, you know there could be a foot of snow on the ground. So we are not complaining. So as you come in, I want you to say hello to me and give your city and your state a shout out. So give your city and your state a shout out as you come in and say hello. My name is Linda Peavy. I'm going to be your host for this afternoon, where we are going to talk about how you get grant funding for your Black-owned business or your Black-led nonprofit. So come on in. Don't be shy. Hey, is it Jameer from Patterson, New Jersey? Oh, I'm in New Jersey all the time. Hey, Anthony from Indianapolis, our neighbors, like right to the west. And we've got Clydine from Brooklyn, New York is up in the house. Hey, everyone. Antoine from New Jersey is represented. Okay, Antoine from Camden, New Jersey. And hey, James from Charlotte, North Carolina. I was just in North Carolina a couple of months ago. Hey, Jerry from Seattle. Is it raining? Is it raining, Jerry, in Seattle right now? Every time I go to Seattle, it's raining. Hey, Erica from Columbus. Hey, Ohio is up in here. Sharada from Minneapolis and Sharon from St. Louis. Oh, and Avery and Andrea. Hey, the land is represented from Cleveland. And hey, is it Charlie or Charlie from the ATL? Mildred Hay from Tennessee. And we've got Stanley from Sunflower, Mississippi. Hey, everyone, come on in. Teresa's in Galena, Ohio, where, it is a balmy 37 degrees. You know you're lucky to have it be 37 degrees if you're in Ohio, because normally we know there would be a foot of snow on the ground in Ohio. Charlie. Hey, Charlie. And Aisha from Miami, and Melissa from Norfolk, Virginia. Hey, Marcella from Lansing, our neighbors right up to the Northwest Michigan. Shout out to the home state, Mississippi. That's what I'm talking about. Mildred is coming in from Sunflower County. Hey, Lorette from Massachusetts. Welcome, everybody. My name is Linda Peavy. I'm going to be your host for this afternoon, where we are going to talk about how you get the grant funding for your Black-owned business or your Black-led nonprofit. So we have a lot to share with you. So I'm going to get started. And the first thing I do is I share my screen, and you're going to see like my little 30-second TV commercial, which will just give you some background information about me and what I do and why I'm here and how I'm here. But as I always do when I hit this share screen, I say, come through for me, technology. Come through. All right, it is looking good. All right.
Hi, I'm Linda Peavy, owner of LaPav Consulting. My passion is to place your organization on the path to excellence. Are you struggling to communicate your message, reach target audiences, or secure funding? From marketing communications to grant writing, we achieve your goals. We've worked with high-profile clients and have secured $17 million in funding for charter schools and nonprofits. Call today to discuss what your success looks like and how LaPav Consulting can help.
All right. Let me make sure everybody is in the right place. So this is grant writing for Black-owned businesses and Black-led nonprofits. So this is my noon session. And yes, we are live. I have another live session at 7:00 p.m. tonight, Eastern Standard Time. So later on, I'll drop that link if you know anyone who wants to join us. All right. So a little bit about my background. Yes, they call me the Grants Queen because I have secured over $17 million in grant funding and business development. And for the past 15 years, I've owned my company, LaPav Consulting, and almost every one of those 15 years, I have served as a professional grant writer. I have not only written applications, but I have written and created the request for proposals that you complete. So I have written those grant applications that you fill out and send in. I have created partnerships all over the country for organizations. And yes, I do provide grant writing workshops internationally. I am a proud alumnus of the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses Program. I am also a member of Forbes Black, which is an organization of Black leaders affiliated with Forbes magazine. And I am the former executive director of a nonprofit. So let me know who's here with me today. Are you a nonprofit or for-profit? Or what I'm finding is that a lot of for-profits are starting nonprofits. So maybe you're both, right? So let me know who's with me. For-profit, nonprofit, or both. Hey, Lorette from Massachusetts. For-profit, both. Excellent, excellent. For-profit. Okay, so let me just say right now, so everybody understands, yes, there is grant money for you as a for-profit, as a small business, right? Especially as a Black-owned business. And I know that's different, right? Because when we thought about grants, we thought about nonprofits, right? But everything's different now. So yes, there is grant money for you as a small business or a for-profit. We'll talk about that and much more as we proceed. So whether you are a nonprofit or for-profit, this webinar is for you. All right, now how did I get here? It's story time. So I used to be a publishing executive in Pennsylvania, and I got hurt. I had been there for like 10 years. I had to come home to Cleveland to recuperate. And it took me 2 years. Literally, when I came home, I had to come home in a wheelchair because I couldn't even stand. And it took me 2 years to recuperate. And after the 2 years, I couldn't find a job because most of my experience was in marketing, but in the publishing sector. And as you can imagine, Cleveland, Ohio is like not the publishing mecca of the United States. So I couldn't find a job. So you know what? I started my own. I started LaPav Consulting. That's been 15 years ago and have not looked back. So one of my first contracted positions was to be an executive director of a nonprofit. And so I started the job, and I don't even think I was there a week before I was called into the board of directors office and told that I had to write a grant to pay for the salary of the executive director, my own salary, right? So in essence, I had to come in, write a grant to save my job, thus saving the organization, right? And you know, look, we're family here, right? There are times when people who look like us are called in to save the day, to save the job, to save the project, sometimes to save the entire organization, right? So if you know what I'm talking about, I want you to give me a yes in the chat. Give me a yes in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. But you know what? I'm getting a lot of yeses. Teresa says all day. Okay, all day. So you know what I'm talking about. Well, you know what? I did it. I learned how to write a grant. I had never written a grant before. I'd never seen a grant before, but I learned that there is a process, right, to writing grants. And there's this connection between getting the grant money, the free money, and being able to open, being able to thrive, being able to hire help, right? So that connection is part of what we will talk about today. All right, now, what are we going to learn in this class? We are going to talk about what are the keys to funding? Grant basics we'll cover. How do you prepare to write grants? Where do you write? How do you write? And then how do you get your application notice in a sea of applications? And then how do you do grant research so that you can pinpoint the organizations that want to give you money as a Black-owned organization or a Black-led nonprofit? And then I'm going to give you a list of available grant funding right now that you're going to apply for. And then don't go anywhere because I have a bonus surprise for you at the end. And we are going to do a thorough Q&A. People who know me know I answer all of the questions. This is your opportunity to ask a grant instructor, a grant expert, your grant questions. So don't be scared. I want you to drop those questions into either the chat or the Q&A as we move along, because at the end, I'm going to answer your questions. Okay. Now, yes, I go fast because I want you to get this information. I have a lot of information to give to you, but don't worry. Everything is being recorded. You will get a free copy of this replay. I do not charge for my replays, and you will have the replay forever. All right. So if you can't write fast enough, don't worry. You'll get access to the replay and you'll get it tonight. Okay. All right. We're off to the races. So why is this class important? Because look, we as Black entrepreneurs and leaders of nonprofits, we need access to money. We need access to funding, and it shouldn't always be about loans. We want grant money, free money, right? But grant writing is a skill and it can be very costly. I am a professional grant writer at the highest level, right? So people of my level, we charge anywhere between $100 to $200 per hour to write a grant, right? But you can learn these skills so that you place your organization in a position to get this grant money. It is not like it used to be. Grant writing is totally different now. Like, you're not spending months and months and months in some corner writing some 200-page document. That's a grant application. No, a lot of the for-profit grant applications, 2 to 3 pages. We're talking hours, not months, right? But you will need to know the process, and that's what you'll learn today. Now, 2 incidents completely changed the landscape of grants. One was COVID-19. When COVID-19 happened, so many small businesses went under. You probably know an organization that had to close their doors. Maybe you had to close your doors or pivot, right? Well, foundations, they provide the grant money. And then major corporations that have foundations that provide grant money, they said, we have to do something about this. There are too many small businesses closing, because the small business, we are the backbone of the U.S. economy. And so what did they do? They created grant money, free money, earmarked for small businesses. There's always been grants for nonprofits, but grants for for-profits, almost unheard of until COVID-19. So that's why there's so much money available right now for you as a for-profit organization, meaning that you have maybe either a sole proprietorship or an LLC or a partnership or a corporation. Now, the next incident was the George Floyd incident. When George Floyd was murdered, once again, foundations and their leaders and major corporations with foundations, their leaders saw what everybody else saw. And they said, we have to do something to address racial injustice in this country. And what did they do? They used what was readily available, money. So they created grant funding earmarked for Black-owned organizations or Black-led nonprofits. So you are in absolutely the best place to try to understand and get this grant money that's been earmarked for you, right? I mean, what I'm saying now is unheard of. I mean, literally, like a couple of months ago, you might have heard of the Progressive grant, Progressive Insurance. They were giving away $25,000 so that Black businesses could buy cars, right? What's happening is unheard of. Certainly in the 15 years that I've been writing grants, I have never seen the amount of money that is available right now for for-profits and especially for Black-owned organizations. Okay. Now, we're going to go through just some grant basics. What do you need to know? Grants are not paid back. I can't say that enough. Grants are not paid back. Now, just for the next minute, I'm only talking to nonprofits. Just for the next minute, you need to get your 501c3. That is your tax-exempt charitable organization designation by the IRS. Now, if you are going to seek grants as a nonprofit, you need this 501c3, even if you are a school or a church, right? Schools and churches are nonprofits for the most part, right? Doesn't matter. You still have to get this 501c3 if you're going after grant money, because the foundations that provide the money, they're mandated by their boards that the organizations they give to not only must be a nonprofit, but you must have your 501c3. So get your 501c3. The good news is that it used to take the IRS up to 6 months to process these applications. Now it's taking 6 to 8 weeks, right? So whatever you do, try to avoid using a fiscal agent. That fiscal agent is typically a nonprofit that already has their 501c3 and they're trying to get money on your behalf. And if they do get grant money, guess what? It goes to them. And then they have to give it to you. Well, if I'm a foundation and I'm trying to give you grant money, I don't want it to go through a third party. I want it to go directly to you. So get your own 501c3. All right. Now, everybody, look at this slide here. People thought, oh, there's no money. Nobody's giving, right? We're in a pandemic. Did you know that when the country faces a calamity, giving actually increases? And that's exactly what happened. Look at this number. This is 1 year. This is 1 year, foundation and corporation giving. $180 billion 1 year. So there's not an issue of whether or not there's any money. It's about how are you going to position your organization in a place where you can get it, right? And I want you to think about what you could do, which is a little bit, like you don't need it all, right? Just a little bit of $180 billion. How about finally open? Some of you have not opened yet. How about finally hire, help employees, right? How about actually operate in the black, right? Just think about this. Right now, everybody into the chat, I want you to put, I just need a little bit. I just need a little bit. Everybody right now into the chat, you don't need it all. We're just talking about a little bit of $180 billion, right? That is a lot of money. Everybody right now into the chat, I just need a little bit. Marquita, Melissa, I just need a little bit right now. Mildred, right? Look, Sotonia, Carlos, we're not trying to be greedy. Antoine says, just give me my share. All right. Anthony, can we just get some crumbs? Can we get some crumbs off of the $180 billion, right? Stanley says, I just need the portion that God has provided for me. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Anthony, exactly, right? Just some crumbs. We don't need the whole pie. Can we get just some crumbs of the $180 billion, right? And I'm going to show you this afternoon how you can get your share of the $180 billion. But first, we have to prepare to write grants. Too many organizations, they see that application, they fill it out and they send it off and they get a rejection letter and they wonder why when they haven't even prepared. Now, there's 5 basic writing skills. We are only going to deal with editing and rewriting. Why? Because I do not want you submitting grant applications full of grammatical errors. Now, since they call me the queen, I'm going to be giving you cups of tea all afternoon. And this is the first cup, Grammarly. Grammarly is your friend. All right. If you use Grammarly, give yourself some love right now in the chat. It is a free, hello people, free software editing tool. You can use it for Word, for Excel, for your email. Teresa says, I love Grammarly. Okay. Lisa loves Grammarly. Melissa used it for her MBA, right? Free. It is a free software editing tool. Sharanta says, I love it. And courtesy of our friends at Grammarly, I want you to download this article once we're done. This is homework for you. Improve writing skills dramatically by doing these 15 things. This article is going to make you a better writer, right? So homework for all of you, download this article, and whatever you do, download Grammarly onto your computer. It's free. It will help you be a better writer because I do not want you submitting applications full of grammatical errors. All right. Now we are preparing to write grants. What else do you need to do? You need to get your documents in order. Nonprofits, you need your 501c3, right? Now, you may need a state certificate, or in some states it's called a business license, right? Now, if you are sole proprietor, LLC, partnership, you have that article, right? Those articles of incorporation, you're good. But if you don't, I want you to check with your Secretary of State. More homework for all of you. Go to your Secretary of State's website. Find out whether or not you need a state certification in order to do business in your state. I was giving this webinar last year. A young lady came on. She said, Linda, oh my gosh, you are right. I was applying for a grant as a for-profit. The competition was stiff. She said, I was the only one that got the grant because I was the only one that could prove I had my business license. So more homework for you. Secretary of State, find out whether or not in your state it is required. It's not required in every state. I'm in Ohio. In Ohio, yes, it is required. In Wyoming, it isn't. It depends. Now, we are preparing to apply for grants. You need a list of your board members. If you are a for-profit, it is not necessary for you to have a board. It's a good idea, but not necessary. If you are a nonprofit, yes, you need a board of directors. It is required. Now, list of your staff, yes. Letters of support. Who are they coming from? It could be your pastor, your church, community leaders, your vendors, politicians, the mayor. You want this foundation to know that there are other organizations that support you, okay? You may need an audited financial statement. It depends on the grant application, right? Every grant application has different requirements. If they do require one, you need for it to come from your CPA, all right? Your current operating budget, and yes, all of you need an operating budget. Even you startups, at the end of the day, you have to know how much money it's going to take you to operate your organization in a year. And that will lead you to understanding how much grant money you need to ask for. So even as a startup, you have to create an operating budget. Let's say I want to open up a daycare center. I may have money for the lease. I may have money for employees, but once I start creating that budget, I may realize, oh, I didn't think about marketing. There's a funding gap. So when you discover those funding gaps, they're typically really, really great places for you to apply for grant money. Next, you need to list any other funding sources, right? This is where so many organizations go wrong because they're thinking, oh, I don't know if I want this grant funder to know that I'm getting money from someone else. You want them to know. You want this foundation to know that there are other organizations that believe in your mission. They're giving you money. So if you have any other grants, any other sponsorships, even in-kind donations, I want you to list them in this application, right? Because no foundation wants to think they're the only organization giving you money. So this is a win for you, right? List your other funding sources. Now, I'm going to go through the typical components of a grant application and give you best practices. The first section you're going to see is a summary abstract. Whatever you do, do not be fooled. You will see it first. You always write it last. Why? Because you're going to go through that completed application and pull out the parts that are most compelling and put it into the summary. So you see it first. You always write it last. Next, your mission vision. Now, all of you should have a mission statement, but do you have a vision statement? The vision statement is what you would like to have happen in the future if you are attaining your mission statement. What is your mission? Well, that's what you're doing now, your aims and your goals. And let me tell you, that mission is critical to you getting money because you want to align your mission to the mission of the foundation that you're seeking money from. So if you're laser focused on K through 12 education, you want to make sure you're finding a foundation that also has a passion for education, right? And no, you're not changing the mission based on the foundation that you apply for. The mission is static. That defines who you are. You need to find the foundation that aligns to your mission, okay? But if you don't have that vision statement, that's more homework for some of you. Create your vision statement. You will need it. Next, history. Now, if you are a startup, yes, you have a history too. Don't leave this section blank. Your history is absolutely the catalyst or the impetus for you starting your organization. Like, don't leave that section blank. I give you an example, a retired principal, right? She was a principal of a high school and her students were underperforming in reading and math. And she knew that once she retired, she wanted to start a tutoring organization so that she could go back and help those students. Well, her experiences as a principal led her to creating that tutoring organization, therefore became the catalyst. So her experiences as that principal is part of the history of her new tutoring organization, right? Because it was the catalyst. Next, leadership. That's simple. Your CEO, your COO, but always include your board of directors because they're part of your leadership team also. Next, you are describing your organization. This is really where you can set your application apart, right? Now, we have a hard time tooting our own horns. Like, this is not the section to be shy about because this is where you can really set your organization apart and set your application apart from others. Because what I want you to focus on is the word impact. What has been the impact of your organization on those for whom you serve? Let's say you have a homeless ministry. How many homeless people have you placed in shelters? I want you to use real numbers, right? Let's say you have an online coaching service in the area of career development. Well, how many people have you led to their future careers? Use real numbers, really talk about the why of your organization. Why has it been successful? And oftentimes it's about you. So yes, it's okay for you to explain why your experiences are part of the success of your organization, right? These foundations, they don't want to read cookie cutter answers, right? They want you to get into the weeds of the why that your organization is important. Okay, next, this is where you're going to have to shift in how you see your organization, because you have to answer this question: what issue or problem are you addressing? And let me tell you, there's always a problem. There's always a problem, but you have to rethink how you see your organization. And you have to write this application as if you are resolving an issue. I'll take just a bakery, right? Wants to locate in the downtown community, needs grant funding, for profit. You might be thinking, well, she's making cakes all day. What problem is she resolving? Well, maybe it's a vegan bakery, and she's resolving the issue that a lot of vegans don't have really great places to buy bakery items. Or maybe she's resolving the issue of economic development, because where she wants to locate, there's been so many other failed businesses. Or maybe she's addressing the issue of her client base, the surrounding businesses, because they haven't had a great bakery in years. So whether you are service-based or program-based or project-based, you have to write as if you are addressing an issue, no matter what you do. Now, that issue that you are addressing will lead you to the foundation that wants to give you money. Why? Because they're interested in solving the same problem or addressing the same issue. Now, how do you find out about what these foundations' areas of interest are? 90% of foundations don't even have a website. Well, this is your next cup of tea. I need for you to check out the 990s. Like, don't sleep on the 990 form. The 990 form is a tax document that nonprofits have to submit. That foundation has to submit a 990 to the IRS. It is a gold mine of information, because when you go through it, you're going to get information about that foundation's leadership team, board of directors. But if you scroll to the back of the 990, there's going to be a document that will list everywhere they have given funding. And you're going to be looking for similar organizations as yours, because if they funded them, they may fund you in the same area. So let's say you have an equestrian program and you help heal veterans by using horses, right? Well, you want to look to see if there's any other animal-related organizations on that 990 that they have funded. And if there are, ding, 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 that might be your foundation. Well, I take a sip. Now, how do you get the 990s? You could certainly pay an organization to give you money, right? But you won't today, because I have a resource where you can literally download any 990 of any organization that has filed one free of charge. You're not giving anybody any money. Projects.propublica.org/nonprofits. Like, say that fast 5 times. Download the 990 of any organization that has filed one in recent years. Okay? Don't sleep on the 990s, gold mine of information. Next, your target population. Who are you helping? I've been literally for 15 years now consulting with organizations, and I know one of the issues is that you're trying to help everybody. You cannot help everybody. It's one of the quickest ways for you to get burnt out, right? You should have 1, maybe 2 target populations. Some of you have like 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 or 2, 1, 2 max, right? Because that target population is going to lead you to a foundation that also wants to provide funding to organizations helping the same target population. That's why you have to define yours. Maybe it's based on gender, and it's for women, ethnicity, it's for African Americans. Maybe it's income, and you have those who live below the federal poverty line. Or maybe it's based on age. You have that daycare center, right? So you're looking for families under the age of 5. Anytime you need demographic information, U.S. Census. Like, don't sleep on the census. This website is free. It is a gold mine of information, okay? Census.gov/quick facts. Now, if you have written a grant, I want you to give me a yes in the chat. If you have written a grant, give me a yes in the chat. Oh, and let me give you another another little tip about the 990, right? That you can use, or something similar, right? What I want you to do, I want you to think about an organization that has a similar mission as yours. Maybe the target population is the same as yours, right? Only they're bigger, or they're just larger, right? Or you think they're better, right? Or they're older. I want you to go to their website. Go to their website. And I want you to look under their section that says donors and sponsors. Go to that section. Find out who's giving them money, because guess what? You are going to pursue the same organization that gave them money. Why? Because you already know they're giving in the same area as yours, right? Sometimes that's half the battle. All right, next. So if you have written a grant application, I want you to ask yourself, did I really showcase how my organization changed lives or how my outcomes were achieved? The best way to do this is to you have to appeal to the emotions of these foundations. The best way to do that is using real examples, testimonials, case studies, right? There's no better way than using video. So yes, you need a video of your organization, no more than 2 to 3 minutes. And you need to have video testimonials on the homepage of your website. Yes, I said website, not social media. In the 15 years I've been working with foundations, I know the first place they go is not your social media page. It is your website. So yes, you need a website. You need to have your footprint. Talk about your programs, your impact. And what is a pet peeve of mine is when I hear about, oh my gosh, the price that some of these organizations are trying to charge you, a small organization, to put up a 1, 2, 3 page website, right? And you're going to need one. Now, if you're in a more sensitive area like domestic violence, no, you're not going to have your clients talking in videos, but you can have them write out testimonials, right? Change their names, put them on the homepage. Now, yes, you need a website. Now, because this is so important, and I know this is where foundations go to find out information about you, I am so willing to give you a referral and a recommendation to the web designers and the web developers that I know that look like us, that are experts in their field, but they're very affordable. I would be happy to give you those recommendations. If you want them, put your email address in either the chat to the hosts and panelists or the Q&A, either one. I would be happy to do that because you are going to need a website. All right. Now, next, you have a decision to make. Are you asking for operating or program project money? We love operating money because you get to decide where to put that grant money, right? But only about 32% of foundations even provide operating funds. Most of the grant money has to be earmarked to a specific program or project, right? Now, here is the takeaway. You must be applying to multiple foundations for the same exact need. Why? Because grants are not guaranteed. So if you need $10,000 to hire a contracted worker, you need to be applying for $10,000 to Foundation A and $10,000 to Foundation B. Now, what if you get all the money? What if you get $20,000 and you're thinking, oh, I only applied for 10 on each. I have to give $10,000 back. No, we don't give grant money back. We don't give grant money back. What you could do, double the number of hours, right, of the contracted worker to get it up to $20,000, or just hire another contracted employee, right? But you have to apply to multiple foundations because grants are not guaranteed. And let me tell you, if you hear a grant writer or someone saying to you, I can guarantee you grant money. Oh, if you give me so much, I can make sure you get grant money. Well, if you hear that, you're being scammed. And I want you to do one of those military turns like those about faces and run in the other direction because you are being scammed. Okay. Don't get me started about the scammers. All right. Describing your project or your service. Again, talk about why you think it's going to be successful, right? How are you going to address the issue, but always write as if you are resolving an issue or a problem. Okay. Next, this is critical because this question is going to be on the grant application. Community partners, collaboration is king. You must decide that you are going to partner with some organization in your community. And homework for you, I want you to write down 5, create 5 different organizations, in your community that you're going to partner with. And there doesn't even have to be an exchange of money. In my consultations, I know over the past 15 years with businesses that part of the problem is that nobody knows who you are. Not enough people know what you do or who you are. This is called networking, right? And partnering with well-established, right? Well-established organizations, right? That know the money. They know where the money is in the community and they can help refer you, right? I think libraries are criminally underutilized. Let's say you have an accounting firm. Once a month for 1 hour, you could go to your local library and give a tax talk. You know they're going to promote it because that's what they do, and it's free publicity for you, right? Libraries have their finger on the pulse of the community. Urban League, you need to be meeting with your Urban League. Oh my gosh, criminally underutilized. They have so many resources. Doesn't matter if you've been in business 5 years or 50 years, they can help you. Universities, HBCUs, the YMCA, right? A young lady, a client of mine, she was opening up a nail salon that was just for men. I'm like, are you kidding? Let's list the organizations that you need to be partnering with, even if you go in there and you do a tax talk about nail health for men, right? Or hygiene. Or there's so many different ways you can partner for free. The bakery will partner with an event planner, right? Just by passing out flyers about the event planner in her shop. The event planner will partner with the bakery by buying the services, but also passing out flyers about the bakery in her shop, right? Whatever you do, partner. I was working on a grant a few years ago. I was writing a grant for a 3rd grade Black class, a class of Black students, right? The teacher wanted to teach them the violin. We were going to be working with the Cleveland Orchestra, one of the greatest in the world. Can you imagine what that looks like on an application? This small school working with the Cleveland Orchestra. You want to work with well-respected organizations, right? Now, you're asking for free money. So you have to talk about what are the outcomes? What are the results going to be if I get this grant money? They come in terms of either outputs, outcomes, or impact. Some applications ask for one, some ask for all three. So be prepared to address all three, which is what we'll do now. So yes, you're going to have to do some forecasting. And I do not want you to be afraid of that F word, because all you're doing is literally writing down what you think your current and future results are going to be. That's it. That's what forecasting is. Very simple. I'll give you an example. Outcomes, immediate results. You give me the money, this is what's going to happen. Outcomes happen maybe 6 months to a year down the road after the outputs. Impact happens, maybe a year to 2 years after the outcomes. They stair step. Here's an example. That daycare center wanted to open. They needed a $20,000 grant. That was it. Like, you give us $20,000, we found a great location. We're ready to open. Now, our output will be, we'll open in that location and serve 100 families and 250 children. Now, because we open in a great community serving 100 families and 250 children, we believe, right? We anticipate, we forecast that in 6 months, we're going to grow our capacity by 40% and add 24/7 services. And as a result of us growing by 40% and adding 24/7 services, we forecast that in 2 years, we are going to double the number of our locations, right? So now you know, outputs, outcomes, impact. Next, goals. You know you need to talk about what your goals are going to be. This is another segment of the grant application, right? Now, they can't just be regular goals. They have to be SMART goals, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. Some of you have heard of SMART goals. Now, let's say I have a program that addresses poverty in Cleveland. I write down as my goal, I want to reduce the poverty rate in Cleveland. Well, no, that's too expansive or broad of a goal. This is what a SMART goal would say. I want to reduce the poverty rate by 5% in Cleveland for Hispanic children under the age of 5 within a 5-year time frame. All right, everybody, into the chat. What did I do there? What did I do there? How did I change that goal into a SMART goal? What did I do? What did I do? What did I? Teresa says she loves using libraries. Yay! Simplified, made it realistic. Clydine, what else did I do? Made it very specific. Martika. Erica, specific details. What else did I do? What else did I do? I made the goal attainable, Teresa. I did. What else did I do? Ding, 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 Melissa. I made it measurable. I included measurable results. Anytime you are creating your SMART goals, you use data and stats, right? Data and stats, because you want to make your goals measurable. All right? It's that simple. Now, you want to be able to answer this question. Who's leading your program? It's probably you, right? And that's fine. Just make sure you include your updated bio and resume, because this is about accountability. That foundation wants to know that you have the right people in the right place at the right time. So for those of you who have not, more homework, update those resumes and those bios. Now we're on to the grant budget, right? This is the budget for the grant money. Let's say you want $50,000. You can't just say, I need 50 grand for an ED. No, if you want $50,000 for an executive director, itemize those expenses. So for example, if it's a W-2 director, you know you have to talk about benefits. So showcase how much money are you providing in benefits versus a salary. If it's a contracted worker, how many hours is a person working? How much money are you paying them per the hour? How many hours out of the year? Be specific. The why, right? The why is going into the budget narrative. Here's a tip. I always connect the goal back to the program. So if I'm asking for $50,000 to hire an executive director, I am talking about how that position is absolutely critical to the success of the program. Connect the money to the goal. Now, sustainability. I love sustainability, because guess what? Grants are not guaranteed. Just because you get a grant in year one doesn't mean you're going to get that grant in year two. And guess what? You have to literally be prepared if you don't get the grant in year two. So on the grant application, you have to let that foundation know if you don't get that money in grant two, rather in year two, you're still going to be okay. You're still going to be able to sustain your program. And that's what you have to write in the grant application. So we're going to do a little activity really quickly. The high school, right? The high school got the $20,000, right, in year one to pay for the tutoring program, but they had to write in that application, if we don't get the money in year two, we're still going to be okay. We are still going to come up with a plan to sustain payment of the program. So how do you think a high school said in year two, we're going to be able to pay the $20,000 for the program on our own, right? And sustain the program? Into the chat. This is a high school. What do you think they did? What do you think they did? How do you think they wrote that they could come up with $20,000 in year two? This is a high school. How do you think they wrote it? Into the chat. Into the chat. What do you think they did? High school, $20,000, year two. Exactly, Anthony. Fundraisers, right? Absolutely. Kim, fundraising. How about the old bake sale? How about a car wash? How about saying we're going to have a paid talent show, or maybe sell school merchandise, right? You have to come up with very creative ways that you will let that funder know that, look, if we don't get the money in year two, we're going to be okay. We're going to be able to sustain payment of the program. This requires a shift in your mindset, because some of you are sitting back thinking, I'm not going to do this. I can't do this. I don't have time for this. My question for you is, and I want the answer in the chat, do you have time to get free money? Do you have time to get free money? Into the chat. Do you have time to get free money? I'm seeing some yeses and some absolutely. So my question to you is, if you have time to get free money, can you spend just a little bit of time on the process to get the free money, right? Because guess what? There are people that look just like you and me getting free grant money every single day, but do it in a community of support, right? There are scammers out there. Anytime you talk about free money, scammers just seem to grow out of the woodwork, right? So be careful, position yourself for success, but you're going to have to create some relationships to do this, right? And let me say, if you don't take anything else away from this webinar, this is it. This is it. Meet with the foundation first. Meet with that funder first. That is as important as anything you will ever put into your grant application, because you need to build that relationship. And this doesn't have to be an in-person meeting. This can be a 30-minute Zoom call, right? I've been in foundation leaders meetings where I've heard them say, if you try to apply for a grant from me, you haven't called me, you haven't emailed me, I might be putting that in the trash. Now, hopefully they were just saying that for effect, right? But you don't know. You don't want to risk it. Meet with the foundation. Now, some foundations don't want to meet with you, and that's fine. But most of them do, because they're giving you free money. They want to know about you. And in that meeting, you're going to be able to tell them and share with them information about your program and the passion that you have that they'll never be able to get from your website. And they will be able to tell you information about the grant that's not on their website, right? This works. I've set up so many of these meetings, set up meetings a few weeks ago between my client and a foundation that never heard of my client before. After a 30-minute Zoom meeting, my client got $30,000. Literally a few weeks earlier, I set up a meeting with a family foundation because the missions aligned, right? That was a 2-hour marathon session. But guess what? My client walked away with not only $30,000, but a guarantee from that foundation of $30,000 every single year. Foundations can guarantee grants, by the way, not grant writers. All right. So yes, meet with the foundation first. You will need a mindset of winning because, again, as you will see in a few moments, there are Black folks that look like you and me winning free grant money every day. Every day. Those are some do's. These are some don'ts. Don't ask for too much money when you approach a funder for the first time. All right. Now, most foundations will let you know this grant is for $10,000. This grant is for $15,000. But community foundations and utility foundations, they won't tell you what the grant amount is for. And oh my gosh, let me give you a clue. Please, please go after the utility foundations. They have deep pockets. Oh my goodness. The power companies, the gas companies, the electricity companies, deep pockets, right? They don't even tell you what the grant amount is for. I was literally meeting with one maybe about 6 weeks ago, and I was asking them, well, what is your average grant? You know what they told me? You know what they asked me? How much do you need? How much money do you need? Right? But what I don't want you to do is go in saying, I need $100,000. You won't get it, right? I need for you to go in conservatively. So the first time you meet with them, ask for between $5,000 and $30,000 the first time, right? These are some don'ts. And then don't leave any questions blank in your grant application. If it doesn't pertain to you, put NA, because if you leave it blank and it's an online application, it might reject it because they think it's incomplete. All right. Now, I said how important it is to meet with that foundation. This is how you do it. You create a letter of introduction. This is an email. You create this email. You describe your organization. You talk about your target population, right? You align your mission to the mission of that foundation that you're seeking a meeting from. They should match. You're not asking for money in this email. You're asking for a meeting. Now, you may do some research and come up with the name of the right person, right? But do you have that person's right email address? I do not want you sending this to like info@abcfoundation.org. That'll probably go into the hemisphere and never come back, right? You need a real email address. And I've been giving you cups of tea all afternoon. This is the teapot. This is the teapot, right? Email, getemail.io. It is a phenomenal software tool that will give you the email address of almost anybody around the world in an established organization, because I need for you to have a real email address of this person that you are sending this letter to, right? Not some info, because if you send it directly to that person, you will absolutely get a response. All right. Now, this is how you find the money. This is the grant research that I want you to do. Google is okay, but you need to choose one or more of these search engines, right, to find the organizations that want to give you money. Foundation Directory Online, it is a leading source of information on grants. They give you information about the organizations, not the grants, the organizations, right? They're the largest portal. They're $50 a month to subscribe. Spend your $50 and get you lists of grants. Now, guess what? If you go to your local library, it's free. Free at the local library. Okay. Grants.gov, we know that is the single source for federal grants. Lilly Foundation, do I have any churches with me or any faith-based organizations? First of all, yes, there's grant money for you. The Lilly Foundation is the largest funder of religious organizations. GrantGopher.com, they have so many grants for nonprofits. People, they're $9 a month. You heard that right. They're $9 a month, right? Get you a grant list from Grant Gopher. GrantWatch.com, I love them. They're $20 a week. Spend your $20, get you a grant list from Grant Watch. You know why I love them? Because they not only give you a synopsis of the grant, they give you the grant funder, they give you the email address, they give you the name, right? You put in your information, all of your information, who you're serving, where you're serving, you push a button, you get a list. Grant Station, I love, I think even more. They're $200 a year. I think they do one of the best jobs of allowing you to input information so that when you push that button and you get that list of grants, it's so much in alignment with what you're doing. Now, all of you, this is homework for every single one of you. When we're done, I want you to go to urbanawarenessusa.org. They are Black owned. These people are dropping 10 to 15 new grants a week. I want you to tell them Linda Peavy sent you. It is free. All right, now they have some paid services, but they have a free newsletter, free training, right? urbanawarenessusa.org. Okay, now, really quickly, this is a homepage of Grant Station. So I want you to know how this works. They're $200 for the year. And for those of you who are with me from international locations, welcome. I always have somebody. I have people from Scotland, London, Africa, you name it. Look in the middle there. These search grants, right? These search engines for the grants are international. Don't think these are just grants for people that live in the US. They're not. If you live here and your target population lives in Africa or another continent, you can still find grants. Maybe you live in Africa, right? You can still find grants because these corporations are conglomerates. They're global. They give money worldwide, right? So when you're searching, yes, you can search for grants if you live abroad. Now, this is Grant Station. Look to the right there, areas of interest. This is fantastic because under each section, there's probably 20 to 30 drop-down menus where you can just tailor your information. The next section, target populations. Who are you targeting? Remember I said you got to find one or two max. Veterans, homeless, youth, K through 12. Who are you targeting? You put in that information, you press a button, up pops the list of grants. Let me say something to you about the geographical scope that is in the middle there. Start local. Start local. All of you, homework, whatever you do, Google your local community foundation. I want you to meet with them. Almost every city has a local community foundation that provides grants. Most of them only provide grants to nonprofits, but if you're a for-profit, I want you to meet with them anyway. I asked a young lady to meet with her local community foundation as a for-profit. She met with them. They told her, we don't have grants for you, right? We only give grants to nonprofits, but you know what? Because she met with them, they gave her a list of 5 organizations that would invest in her business. Meet with them. It's low-hanging fruit. Local community foundation. Now, don't exclude the national grant makers. Just because an organization is located in California doesn't mean that they're not giving money to you and you're in Michigan, right? So Grant Station, $200 a year, will give you a list of grants. Now, remember I said I had grants for you? Kevin Hart, comedian, right? His grant, I think it just opened or it's opening in the next few days. He has a grant available. Earmarked, you have to be a Black-owned, minority-owned business. Less than 5 years open. Shea Moisture, right? The shampoo and hair people, they have a grant that's opening in 2024. It closed for this year. If you have a Black hair care salon or you create products for Black hair, Shea Moisture. Chamber of Commerce, American Express, they have a grant. If you are a filmmaker, and I had someone on with me last week, he was in Japan, a Black filmmaker in Japan. I told him he better run to this website and apply for this grant. He was literally making a film about the Black experience. That's what this grant is for. Ford Foundation, one of the largest foundations in the world, right? Car company. Department of Transportation has a grant. Facebook, NASE, MBDA. You work with youth, there's a conflict resolution grant. Amarillo. Now you may be saying, Linda, I'm teeny tiny, I'm too small, there's no grant money for me. That's not true. Amarillo, all they do, they're in Texas, is give money to very small organizations. Or you might be saying, Linda, I don't even have a paid staff. Like, it's just me. Doesn't matter. Amarillo, all they do is give money to all volunteer nonprofits. I have clients that are all volunteer. You don't need a huge organizational chart and all these paid employees. You need impact, right? Mustard Seed, yes. All they do is give money to faith-based organizations or churches. Harlem Capital, group of Black investors. Lilly Foundation, they've earmarked money to Black churches and HBCUs. Inkfile, you may say, oh, I'm a startup. There's no money for me. There's two tips right there. Inkfile and Sky's the Limit. They both give startup money. I know I have a lot of women with me. This slide is for you. HelloAlice.com, sign up. That is a huge portal that provides grant information for women-owned small businesses. Fearless Fund, Visa, Goldman Sachs, Cartier, the jewelry company. Yes, they have a grant. Amber Grants for Women. They give away $10,000 every month. 37angels.com. They invest in women-owned businesses. But go to their site anyway, even if you don't need an angel investor, because there's a list of at least 50 opportunities for female founders. Tori Birch, the designer, she has a phenomenal program, right? Now, all of you, into the chat. What comes to your mind when you think about banks and money? Banks and money, into the chat. Banks and money, banks and money, banks and money. Yes, this is applicable to nonprofits and for-profits. Yes, big money, big money. Charlie, right? Charlie, big money. You need a business plan, have to get loans. Banks are profit, they invest your money. Wealth of knowledge. Now, did you know that banks are some of the largest providers of grant money? Grant money, grant money, grant money. Not just loans. You've been going to the wrong person, probably your branch manager, right? Grant money, right? You need to make sure you're meeting with a VP. Make sure you're meeting with a VP, vice president of either economic development, community development, or community reinvestment, right? I'm dropping those names into the chat. That's who you need to meet with, right? If you go into the branch and ask for grant money, they're going to say they don't have any. Now, these are 3 hot leads for you. Bank of America, they're giving grants to nonprofits and for-profits. They open in January. The Wells Fargo grant opens in February. They're giving money to for-profits and nonprofits. The TD Banks grant, they only give money to nonprofits. They're open right now. They have a rolling application. Anytime you hear the word rolling, you can apply at any time. Now, remember I said, don't go anywhere. Remember I said, I truly, in the 15 years that I've been writing grants, I've never seen the amount of money that's available, especially earmarked for Black-owned businesses. So I know that I can only help so many organizations writing one grant at a time, and I want to help as many people as I can. So you know what I did? I read a grant writing course. When I tell you this is how I won $17 million in grants, I put it in the course. All of my 15 years is in this course because I want you to have a proven step-by-step path to funding, right? I want you to be impactful. I want you to fulfill your mission statement without using your personal finances, right? Without bootstrapping, without self-funding, without asking family and friends for money. Because you can win $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 or more in grants, as you will see in a minute. I'm teaching you the best grant research techniques. I show you how to find funders who want to give you money and how do you approach them. And I help you absolutely write every part of a grant narrative because I want you to be able to write grants without paying a grant writer if necessary. No one can tell your story better than you. Yes, it's going to take a little bit of effort, right? But the equity is worth it, but don't go it alone because I want you to be guided, right? And coached appropriately. I give you 12 modules and 35 lessons, right? And I know people learn differently. So every lesson starts with an introductory video, right? And no, this is not just a course of videos. You have actual lessons. I am asking you questions. And as you answer my questions, you are creating a phenomenal grant template. And I give you planners and workbooks. You download everything. Everything is online, but you may be working away from the computer. So I give you all of the lessons in a workbook. And I do these like really silly, fun quizzes to help you remember the information. And you know, I'm going to give you real grant examples. And every grant example I wrote, and every grant example won money. And I do something nobody in this country, I guarantee you, is doing. I give you a list of over 450 funders of all different areas. The last one was focused on for-profits. 450 organizations that give money to nonprofits and for-profits. And I give you something that has totally changed the success factors of my students, a private Facebook group. And as the young people say, that group is lit. I'm telling you, it is phenomenal because everybody in that group is helping everybody else. I have professional grant writers. I have CEOs of mid-sized companies. I have people with doctorates, right? You come into the group, let's say you want somebody to maybe review part of your application. Come into the group, somebody will do it. If I have time, I'll scam it, right? I'm in there all the time. Like, I'm not one of those people where you buy something from them and they disappear. You'll probably be sick of seeing me in the Facebook group, right? And let me tell you, oh my gosh, the grants that are dropped in the Facebook group. The students are dropping more grants than I am, and I'm dropping a lot of grants because everybody wants everybody to win. And I do one other thing. I give you 1 hour of group coaching every single month. And if you are on here and you've been a part of that group coaching, let people know how it is, because when you come up to that hot seat and you talk about your organization, I give you direction, I give you advice, I give you what you need to be able to be successful at winning these grants, right? Now, this is what the course is worth. This is not what you're paying, right? Because I make the course affordable, but this is what the course has been audited at being worth. I've had the course audited 3 times now. The 12 modules are worth $3,549. The videos are worth $599. The list now is almost 500 funders are worth $499. And you know, I'm going to give you workbooks and planners. You know, you need those grant trackers because you have to stay on track. You have to stay organized, right? They're worth $350, but that is not what you're paying because you decided to take your time to come with me. The course is valued at $5,000, which is accurate because I know about the weekend courses at the universities, the grant writing courses at the universities that are $2,000 and $3,000, and you don't get what I give you. And you may have access to the materials for maybe 2 to 3 months. You certainly don't have access to the professors after that weekend. What I'm giving you is on a totally different level, but it's affordable. So the course everyday price is $997, right? That's the retail price, but typically I have it on special so that it's more affordable for $497, and that's what people pay, the $497, right? That's what people pay every day. But you came to the webinar. Therefore, for the next 3 days, you get an additional 50% off of the $497. Yes, an additional 50% off of the $497. So believe it or not, one payment, $247, one and done. And let me say this to you, most people think that is a monthly payment and they are prepared to pay it monthly because of everything you get, but it's not. It's one and done, $247. And if you need 2 payments, you can take 2 payments, $137.50 today. And then in a month from now, your car will be deducted with $137.50, right? And if you want the 2-month payment, you don't even need a code, no code. If you want the one payment of $247, that's the lowest. One payment, right? You need this code here, DEC07N. And let me say this to you, and I usually have to say this multiple times because people don't believe me. The course never expires. The course never expires. The course never expires. You have the course forever. Why? Because as a Black entrepreneur, right? And as a Black nonprofit leader, life happens to us. And you could buy this course and be all excited. I'm going to start tomorrow. And then life happens. So I would never put like that kind of pressure on you to have an expiration date. You have the course forever. This is everything you get. I didn't even talk about the letter of inquiry. I give you a storytelling lesson. I give you a writing lesson. right? Oh my goodness. And it's self-paced. You don't wait for me. You start immediately. You pay for this course, you start immediately. You're not waiting on me. You get a username and a password. You get started. You come to the Facebook group for questions. You come to the group coaching session to get more information. $247, of course, is for the culture. You use this code, that is it. But you only have the 3 days. Everything's up Sunday. Everything's up Sunday. The link is in the chat. If you want to buy it, it will take you to this page here. You will see $497. You hit purchase. It will take you to this page. Look to the left there. It says have a coupon. You drop in the coupon code. It will literally take $250 off of the price of the course. You'll pay $247, one and done for everything. You'll have access to those group coaching sessions every single month. The Facebook group is 24/7. Now you see this little block here? That's you and me. You and me, deep dive, private session. I do a deep dive. And let me tell you, after that hour, I get you together. The testimonials for people who have taken this session are in the Facebook group, right? I do a deep dive. It's the strategy session. I give you the video. I give you the notes. And you are on your way, right? You have complete clarity and a to-do list, right, of what you need to do. We go diving into your organization, into your local community, right? I help you identify locally where can you get funding and nationally. So it's $495 for the 1 hour. Now it's deducted. You can pay $195. That is the only time you'll be able to pay $195 is if you buy it with the course, because it is a strategy session, right? It is a strategy session. So it's $495 for the hour. Well worth it. Again, the testimonials are in the Facebook group, but you get it for $195 if you buy the course. That's the only time I discount that for you. Now, if you want to make the 2 payments, you can. When you hit the link, you come to this page. You see that little drop-down menu? See that little black arrow? It will show you 2 times $137.50, and that's where you pay. Now, look at Whitney. Whitney got $90,000. She's a student using the course, got $90,000 the last week of September. Remember I said go local and national, and don't forget those utility companies. They have foundations, deep pockets. She went to Southern Power. They gave her $40,000. She went to the National Birth Equity, a national organization, $50,000. She went local and nationally, right? Last week of September, this was what, last week, November 28th, last week, a therapeutic massage company, right? I got this email, Miss Linda, this is Michelle Richardson and Annette Thompson of Tranquility Point Therapeutic Massage in Charlotte, North Carolina. We both wanted to share our wonderful, fabulous news. Our small business was awarded a $20,000 grant. We are so very thankful and grateful for your course. It has been life-changing for our business. Look at Ida sent me this the same day I got the email from Michelle. The Mustard Seed Enterprises has been approved for a $20,000 grant. Stay tuned. There's more to follow, right? Don't those people look like us? Look at Christina. May I share that I am so grateful for Linda. I would not have had the confidence to follow through on applying for grants if it wasn't for her grant writing course. The depth of information provided is unmatched from my experience. And I know it is because I know what they're giving you at the university level, and I give you way more. I won my very first grant to grow my business, and I'm so grateful. Guess what? Not only did she win $10,000, she won a year's mentorship. And guess what? I dropped this grant in the Facebook group. Reverend Chris, she's up to $35,000 for her church. Natalie sent this email to me. I'm a graduate of one of your classes and was able to secure a $50,000 grant for a local church this past summer, right? She's writing for others. Look at Quintina. She got her first grant. Don't these people look like us? April is an attorney. You know, we love Ben and Jerry's ice cream, right? They have a foundation. She created a social justice game. She submitted it to them. They said, this is really not within our funding requirements, but oh my gosh, this is fantastic. Here's $1,000. And she kept going. You keep going. If you are going to enter any type of pitch competitions, this grant course is perfect for you. She said, Linda, I went through the course. I'm ready. I know how to present myself. I know how to tell my story. I know how to frame what I am doing. 100 competitors, Chicago. She came in second. Second place got her $9,000. Like, these are all real people. Come to the Facebook group. You could ask them questions. They're all real, right? So this is real. People that look like you and me, we're getting grant money every single day, right? It's Q&A time. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. All right. And before we even get started, because I believe in speaking things into the universe, right now, everybody into the chat, I'm ready to get grant money. I'm ready to get grant money. Everybody right now into the chat. I'm ready to get grant money. Write this down, Mildred. I'm ready to get grant money. Avery, Anthony, I'm ready to get grant money. Everybody write this. Ari, Sharanta, Clydine, Jamari, Yvette, Aisha, Teresa, I'm ready to get grant money. Stanley, Clydine, Teresa, Carlos, Melissa, I'm ready to get grant money. Chanel, Sharon, Terrence, write this down. I'm ready to get grant money. Lisa, write it, like write it, speak it, write it, right? Write this down. Let your hand write out what you need. Stacy, James, right? Avery, Lorette, I'm ready to get this grant money. Whomever the Zoom user is, I'm ready to get grant money. Anthony, right? Because this is for real. And let me say this to you. I don't know if you've been watching the news, but not everybody is happy that people that look like us is getting grant money. Some of these organizations are being sued because they're giving us grant money. So I don't know how much longer this is going to be available. That I don't know. That I can't tell you, but I know it's available now, right? And let me just say to you, whatever you do, I would love for you to buy the course, right? I would love to be able to coach you. That would be fantastic because I know a little bit about what I'm talking about. But whatever you do, don't be in the same place a month from now. Don't come January 7th and be looking around saying, how can I get this grant money? Like, how did somebody give that person grant money? How did that organization get grant money? Who gave her grant money? Somebody gave them knowledge and they moved on it. So whatever you do, move. Don't be in the same place a month from now. Whatever you do, whether you buy the course or not, do something to move your organization forward. My mantra is, I'm getting more in 2024. I am getting more in 2024, right? And let me just say to you, January, please be ready. Please be ready to write grants in January, because there are organizations like Walmart and Verizon. They will tell you the way our money is set up, the way the grants are set up is first come, first serve. So you need to be ready. You need to be ready in January. Now, not every organization is like that. You have some organizations that have rolling grants, right? When you hear that word, again, you apply it anytime, but a lot of organizations, the money is available January 1st, and when it has been expended, it has been expended. So be ready, right? I'm getting more in 2024, right? But you put legs onto that. Don't just write it. Put legs onto that, right? Because there's people that look like you that are getting grant money. And let me tell you how unprecedented this is, right? People are giving Black churches grant money, Black businesses grant money, right? This is my year 15. I know this is unheard of, right? So do something to move yourself forward, right? Now, Q&A, Q&A, Q&A. All right. Let's start with the top. When your 501c3 is pending with the IRS, do you still apply for grants or wait until you get the letter? You absolutely apply now. Do not wait, because by the time you get the letter, that's just a letter. You should be researching grants and writing grants so that all you're waiting on is that letter for you to push the apply button, right? You need time to research and write. So this is the best time. Research and write grants right now. And then just press the apply button or mail it off. Most grants are online, so you're probably hitting a submit button, right? Okay, excellent. Excellent questions. What if you are not very successful in your mission? Then you may need another mission. There's a complete lesson in this course on how to write a mission and a vision statement, a complete lesson, because your mission is important. right? Don't write out a mission that you think is going to make you money. It doesn't work. Your mission should come from here, right? Frame it up here, but it should come from here, right? And let's say you had a mission that you weren't successful. Do an analysis of why you weren't successful. Maybe you weren't successful because you didn't have the right staff, or you didn't have a staff, or you didn't have help. Most of you are solopreneurs. You're like, Linda, it's just me. It's just me. It should never just be you, right? It should never just be you. Get help. Go to your local community college and get some interns. Some interns don't want money, they want the experience. Or get you volunteers. The best way to get burned out is to try to do all this by yourself. You can't keep doing this, right? You cannot keep doing this by yourself. And some of you are doing it by yourself and trying to serve 10 target populations, right? You will not last long, right? This is real talk. You will not last long. So if you need to tweak your mission, or maybe your mission is great, but you need to complete the necessary steps so that you have the support to complete your mission. All right, my nonprofit is for urban sidewalk cleaning and youth mentoring. My thing is I'm a one-man mission cause. No one cares about a cleaning neighborhood. What tips or advice do you have for me? So first of all, that's not true. It's not that no one cares about a clean neighborhood. What I would do if I were you, I would go to the neighbors in that neighborhood, because most of the people in that neighborhood probably wish they had a clean front yard or backyard, and they don't have anybody to do it. They probably don't even know what you're doing and the fact that you do it. Remember I said most people don't even know what your organizations are. So you go to the neighbors, start an organization in the neighborhood, right? Start an organization that will help you, that will help support your organization. And those are two very different services. You have a sidewalk cleaning company, and then you mentor youth. So if I were you, I'd focus on one of those for now, especially if none of them have been successful. Focus on one of them, right? I said that before. Focus one target population and move from there, right? Focus on one. That's the issue with so many of you. You're trying to do too many things. You're trying to help too many people, right? Because once you become successful at your cleaning business, it'll be easy for you to mentor youth, right? It'll be easier for you to mentor youth, but focus on your sidewalk cleaning, right? I've given you all kinds of information that you can go to your local community foundation. Let me say this, you are specifically helping your community. So you need to be one of the first people to find out where's your local community foundation that can give me some money, okay? Whether you are a for-profit or a nonprofit, the least they will do is be able to point you in the right direction, all right? What kind of businesses can a tax company partner up with? Any business, like you're a tax company. All companies pay taxes. You could partner with the Urban League and give a free tax talk every month, right? Like what company can't use a bookkeeper or know about taxes? Go to your local library, give a talk, right? Do you know how many small business organizations there are within this country? Every one of them would probably love to hear from you. You know how many women-owned businesses there are? Angela, you're a woman, you have a tax company. They will probably love for you to come in and talk to them about what they need to do to not pay so much in taxes, or to make sure they have a bookkeeper, or to make sure they're not mingling business and personal expenses, right? So like yours is unlimited. You have to pay for grant applications. I see that some grants want as little as $15 for the application. That's a great question. Like 99% of grant applications are free. There's only really one. There's two organizations I know that charge for grant applications. One is Amber Grants for Women. I think it's like $15, but it's $15, right? You get to apply for all of their grants. And the other was Entreprenista. There's a little bit more. But Amber Grants for Women, those are the only two I know that even apply. Like I said, 99%. You don't have any grant fees. If you don't have funds right now for the discount, I've given you 75 minutes of free advice. I would go to the replay and I would go through and I would act on what I've given you for free. All right. If a company doesn't have a foundation, can they still fulfill grants? What do you mean by that? If a company doesn't have a foundation, can they still fulfill? Ask me that question differently because I'm not sure what you're asking. Not good at writing letters. Do you offer help with application for grants? There's a lesson in the course that teaches you how to write. It's in the course. We rarely write grants. Right? But what you can do is, as you're writing, drop that information into the Facebook group and ask for help. Ask someone in there to help you, right? Ask for somebody to even review it for you. If I have the time and you drop it in there, I'll skim it for you and give you some advice on it for sure. But ask for the help. You'd be surprised how many people will help you if you ask for it, right? But come into the Facebook group. That's what it's for. I want to open housing for people who have served their time and need help re-entering the community. So you have a program that helps the ex-offenders. There is so much grant money available to help ex-offenders. So yes, there's grant money for you. What you need to do, Leah, is partner with the criminal justice system. You need to partner with the chaplains at the jail system so that they know what you do. Partner with people within the jail system because they need to be able to recommend you as a program so that you're helping ex-offenders come and transition back into society will reduce the city's recidivism rate, right? The recidivism rate is a rate at which ex-offenders go back to jail. All cities want that to be as small as possible, right? Because they want ex-offenders to be successful as citizens. So yes, there's money for you. I run a nonprofit for social justice. We give wheelchairs and devices to the less fortunate. We are doing a toy drive. I think that you meant drive for the holiday, but businesses in my neighborhoods are not helpful. Any tips, please? Get as much free publicity as you can. See if there's a newspaper in the area that you can go talk to them. Let them know that you are having this toy drive. Again, look into your community. All of you live in cities or small communities where you have to utilize the resources that are right in front of you, right? Meet with your library, meet with the Urban League, meet with, maybe you're part of the Divine Nine and you have fraternity brothers and sisters who can get you in front of them, right? There, this is the Christmas time of the year. There are so many different holiday parties. There's different fundraisers. Get in front of people and let them know what you're trying to do. But yes, it's about networking. So that's why I want all of you to list 5 organizations in your community that you can network with. We are in the landscape industry, completely self-funded. What is the best way to find, narrow down grants and comprehend the grants that we qualify for our needs, which are office space, storage, and hiring? So utilize one or more of the grant search tools that I gave you, Grant Station, Grant Watch. Look for your for-profit grants in your community. And also, for all of you that are left, there are pretty much 3 different areas where you all should be searching for grants. One is industry-based, right? It means the funder, the organization providing money, is in your industry. So for example, if you have a hair care salon, that Shea Moisture grant, they're in the same industry. Go to your industry. You're in the landscape business. You need to find out whether or not Scott's or Peterbilt, I think they have the machines that you can drive to cut grass. Scott's, they do the lawn fertilizer. Go to your industry-based companies and find out whether or not they have a grant program, right? But all of you need to be looking to your local community foundations. That's one, every single one of you. So the industry is one, right? Shea Moisture, they do the shampoo and the hair. They provide money for the Black hair care salons, all of you, right? The young lady that's opening up the nail salon for men, go to Opie, they do the nail polish, right? Industry specific. Next is based on your ethnicity, or your gender. There are grants out here where you can apply for just because you're Black or you're a woman. The Kevin Hart grant, you have to be a Black-owned business, right? And it's not specific to what you do. You just have to be Black-owned, which qualifies all of you, most of you anyway, right? The next is you are matching your mission to that of the foundation. So again, if you're in education, look for foundations that also have a passion for education. And you can do that through one of the search portals, Grant Station, Grant Watch, Grant Gopher. Okay. So it's not about whether or not there's a grant for me. So I don't want to get a lot of questions whether or not is there a grant for me and I do X, Y, Z, because we'll be here all day. The issue is not whether or not there's a grant for you. If you are in a legal industry, there's likely grant money for you. You have to find out who is providing the grant money, right? The fiscal agent, I missed what you were saying about the fiscal agent. Do you advise against this, or for those of us who are waiting for a nonprofit status? If you have to do that, do it. I don't want to give you any advice that's going to keep you from getting grant money. So if you have a fiscal agent you've worked with, you trust them, right, to apply for grants on your behalf, right? Or you apply for the grants and you list them as a fiscal agent, and that grant application is coming up and you don't want to miss that grant application, by all means, list them, right? By all means, list them. But I'm saying it's going to be rare that you get money, because most foundations do not want to work with a fiscal agent. They want to work directly with you, but don't not do it if you already have one. And you're saying it's just until you get your nonprofit status. So yes, sure, go ahead and do it. As long as you're working to get your own 501c3. All right, those were the questions in the Q&A. I have some in the webinar chat. So yes, it's $137.50 today. And then in a month, it will be deducted from whether you gave us a credit card or PayPal. It will automatically be deducted. Okay, automatically it will be deducted. All right. Those of you who are buying the course, you'll get 3 emails. One will be the email for the Facebook group, right? The other will be the email that you will create a username and a password, and you're on your way. The other is a welcome. Those of you who are buying, I will see you in the Facebook group, and I will see you on the next group coaching session. And the next group coaching session is this month. You will get the date because I want you to be ready for January. There will be a group coaching session in December, right? So that you can come up and get the help you need so that you will be ready for January. All right. All right. So right now, before we do anything, we have to give. I don't know the name of this person because this just says Google user. So whoever the Google user is, identify yourself into the chat. We're going to give you some love, and we're going to give Ari some love because you said you're not leaving me behind. I'm getting this grant money. When I said I'm ready to get this grant money, I meant it. Give them some love. I will see you both in the Facebook group and in the next group coaching session, right? And I want you to come up to the hot seat so I can help you out. All right. So who is the Google user? Or maybe you want to be anonymous, which is okay by me. If you want to be anonymous, that's okay. That's okay by me. All right. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. All right. So give them some love. Give them some love. Thank you, Ari. Thank you, Google user. I was trying to see if I could come up with the name, but I think it's just, you'll have to change that too. You just want to make sure when you go into your account that you'll have, you'll put in your real name, because they literally have you as Google user in here. Looks like it's something loves, but all right, let's go to the top. Okay, let's see. Yes, everything is being recorded. You'll get the recording tonight, which reminds me, first of all, thank you, Irene, for being my assistant today. Irene is in the motherland. She's in Africa. Thank you, Irene. If you could drop the 2 emails into the chat, that would be great. These 2 emails I want you to put on your safe senders list because you're getting the replay tonight. You're getting the replay tonight, and I don't want it going to your spam. So lpv@lapov.com is my private email address, then hello@grantwritingfornonwriters.com. Even an advisory board will help if you are for-profit. Absolutely. You don't need, it's not required that you have a nonprofit, right? Or rather a board. The nonprofits are required to have boards. The for-profit isn't required to have a board, but it's great to have one, at least an advisory board, right? Especially if I'm talking about like the solopreneurs and the partnerships, right? At least having an advisory board. All right, let's see. More questions. There's still time to drop your question into the chat or the Q&A. This would be awesome for me because I'm a filmmaker. I have a camera, geared to do testimonials. So if you're a filmmaker, Stanley, you need to, if it's still open, apply to that Ford Foundation grant, because that grant is strictly for filmmakers working on films that talk about the Black experience or the experience of people who are from the African diaspora, okay? And the Ford Foundation is one of the largest foundations in the world, right? Ford Motor Company. Yes, use your libraries, everybody. You're wanting resources, all of you. It doesn't matter where you are, there's a local library, right? Use your library to give talks about what you do. All right, let's see. Yes, the Ford. Yes, the Ford Foundation. It's not easy to get money from the Ford Foundation, but when they provide a RFP and it's in your area, get on it and get on it. Think. I want more in 2024. No, the information is not printable. So what you will get is a replay, and I want you to do the screenshots. I want you to do the screenshots when you get the replay, but I will also give you the chat. Hello Alice is amazing, right? All of you, right? If you're a woman, please go to helloalice.com. And even if you're not, sign up to helloalice.com, because there are often grants that they drop that's not just for women. All of you, it's free. All right, let's see. Yes, the webinar is recorded. You will get it emailed. Can you email that list of grants? You'll get the recording. Compared to what professional grant writers charge, this is a deal. This is a phenomenal deal. Again, we charge $100 to $200 per hour to write a grant. This is $247. I'm teaching you everything I know for $247. And oh my gosh, I didn't mention, write this off. Write it off, please. It is a business expense. It is an educational expense. You don't even pay for this. Your business pays for this. You write this off. You write it off, right? Don't even pay for this. Let your business pay for this. And you literally write it off on your taxes. And yes, you get a certificate at the end of the course. You get a certificate. All right, I saw a few more questions. I want to just make sure. Verizon, yes, the Verizon grant. Start in January. Start early. Please be ready in January. All right, let's see. Teresa is giving that tax person advice. The Urban League, this is so true. The Urban League has small business cohorts that are in serious need of tax advice. I can attest to that. So you were asking, how do you network? You need to meet with the Urban League, because most of the Urban Leagues have entrepreneurial divisions and departments where they want to help Black-owned businesses. Black-owned businesses need help with their taxes. They need professional advice. I can't even stress that enough to you. And somebody on here needs a good tax professional. So, I mean, you might get some clients from here. Again, you will get the chat. You will get, I have all of the emails for those of you who want the web designers, but they are going to contact you. So please respond. Okay, thank you so much for this. You've answered so many questions. I feel much better. Weight has been lifted. Good. I mean, you can do this. Let me help you do this. Like, don't do this on your own. Come into this community. Everything is free when you buy the course. The Facebook group is free. The group coaching sessions every month, free, right? All of it's free. The one thing that's paid is if you want to meet with me one-on-one for $495, you can do that at any time. But if you buy that within the next 3 days, it'll be reduced to the $195. I started a company, Heliocasa, focus on creating clean energy, green, affordable housing. Any funders you would recommend to help me scale the business? So, James, I have been contracted to provide grant research services for Habitat for Humanity. And so while I was doing the research, of course, they're all about affordable housing. And so I had to conduct research. I came up with hundreds of grant opportunities for them. So the answer definitely is yes. If I had to steer you in the right direction, I would say the banks. The banks are huge on affordable housing, but do your research because there is so much money available to you and you're looking to create affordable housing, but also, and this will broaden your grant search. If you're focusing on certain target populations, let's say out of every 5 affordable housing units you build, you want to make sure 1 is earmarked for veterans. Now, right, you're able to research for grants that are geared towards veterans, right? That's why all of you need to be able to define your target population, right? Because that will open up your grant search for you, because now you're not only searching for grants or people that can give you money because of your affordable housing focus, but if you are looking at having some of those housing for the homeless or veterans, now you have target population. So now you can search for grants that are available to those people who are helping veterans or helping the homeless. So again, think about your target population. Yes, Mildred says free networking. This is fantastic, right? For all of you for-profits, your Chamber of Commerce. All of you need to be aware of your Chamber of Commerce, and chambers of commerce oftentimes have free meetings open to the public, or join, right? Talk about having access to other companies that may need your services. That is a great way, especially if people who are cleaning, right? Maybe those businesses want their sidewalks cleaned, right? Stacy, you're going to need to do research, right? You have a venue, you own your own land. If you want funding for a new building, just know that you're going to need multiple streams of funding. It's rare that anybody's going to give you money to just put up a new building, like from one source. So the new building, you will need money from multiple sources. So that is really about doing your research and being specific. I don't know what the building is for. I don't know what the venue is for. You have to be specific when you do your grant research, okay? I'm not sure what you're asking, Stanley. So just rephrase that and ask me differently, because I'm not sure what you're asking. So the payment is credit cards, PayPal. So if you have PayPal, once you pay with PayPal, you may be able to make multiple payments, right, through PayPal, or I'm giving you the option to make 2 payments, remember? You don't have to pay the $247 up front. You can pay $137.50 and get everything. I don't drip my course. If you only pay the $137.50 now and the $137.50 a month from now, you don't wait. You get everything. You get the whole course. You get the grant writing group, right? You get the Facebook group. You get the coaching. You get everything. So I don't drip my course. Even if you only pay the $137.50, you get everything. So I'm giving you 2 payments, right, within the system. Okay, let's see. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. I'm so glad you're encouraged. I'm so glad everybody's encouraged. But like I said, whatever you do, don't sit still. Take what I've given you, right? Take this presentation and use it. I've given you many free resources, right? The course is a course at a totally different level because you get step-by-step writing instruction as to how you write to answer the questions that are on these grant applications. You'll know, and I give you examples, right? So if I ask you to write about your target population, I'm giving you an example of how I wrote about a target population, how I did research to come about that target population, right? So you get specific detailed information in the course and my group coaching, right? But you have a lot of information here. Somebody just got denied for 2 Hello Alice grants. So you know what? Ask, why did they deny you? And find out whether or not you were a good fit for that grant, right? Just because the grant is available doesn't mean that it's a good fit for you, right? But keep going, keep going. Like, I haven't always gotten the grant on the first try. I'll give you an example. I was trying to get grant money from one client. Oh, they were so, this community organization was so tough, but I just said, I'm going to keep going. But I met with them and I asked them, why did you deny us? And so they gave us the information that they felt they were looking for, right? And let me tell you, one was the fact that they said when they went to my client's website, that's what I'm trying to tell you about the websites. When they went to the website, they didn't see enough activity based on the city that I was applying for that particular organization. So you know, we put in more testimonials, more videos, more activities about what was happening in that particular city, because my client services multiple cities. And so we went back in and we took the advice of that foundation leader, right? And the next time we got the grant, right? So you're not always going to get what you want the first time, but take note of the information they give you, right? Find out, like, why did they deny it? Why did they deny it? So it's okay to ask. All right. All right. A couple of more and then we're wrapping it up. Absolutely, Teresa. You are absolutely right. You're absolutely right. When I came home in that wheelchair, I have a testimony. I have a testimony. Okay. That's why you've got to keep going. Like all of you, people are waiting on your skills and your gifts and your talents. Do you know how special you are? Do you know how many people have a dream to help others and they never manifest it? They don't act on it. You've acted on it. You spent this last hour and a half with me. You didn't have to do that, right? Don't think you're not going to be rewarded for that in some way or the other, right? But just keep going. Keep going. There are people waiting for your skills. For those of you who haven't opened, there are people waiting for your skills. Okay, I'm getting a lot of questions, so just bear with me. Keep going. You have to learn something from the denial. Try again. Absolutely. Mildred is in here preaching. Absolutely. Like, I receive all of that. All of you receive. That is so true. You've got to keep going. The tax person can partner. That tax person, you're getting advice, can partner with insurance companies. I think it's an EA, and when I had my office in California, they say contact with me about partnering with insurance companies. So the tax company, insurance company is another potential partner. Family tree landscape, can you post your tax business? Oh, someone's asking you, the tax person, to post your tax business information. Look, I don't mind. I'm all about helping. So I'm perfectly okay with you doing that. Like, get you some business. I need to find funding for commercial property. Again, it depends on what the property is used for. This has been great. Looking forward to receiving the email tonight. You will get it. Housing for inmates that want to reintegrate into community. Absolutely. There's money. There's money for that. I know for a fact there is. There's a restaurant here in Cleveland. It's a 4-star restaurant. Their entire cooking staff, ex-offenders. He gets so much grant money because he's training those ex-offenders how to cook so that they can have a skill so that they don't go back to prison, right? Where can I find a good website? So again, if you give me your email address, I will give your email address to the people that I know, the web designers that I know that look like us, by the way, that are experts and they're affordable. Okay, Stanley, films, commercials or presentations. He's been in the industry for 15 years. Let's see. I believe that is it. Okay, let me just make sure there are no other questions in the Q&A. I know that I still have to create my business entity for this new business idea, and I have, but do you think a trailer washout service for refrigerated trailers would be an attractive to grant lenders? Again, it just depends, right? It depends on, sounds like you have a cleaning service. So if you have a cleaning service, if I were you, I would expand that because you're very specific. You're cleaning trailers, right? So if you can clean trailers, you can clean the side, you can clean homes, right? If you clean trailers, you can clean trucks, right? So expand that. I would expand it so that you have a little broader audience. It's still cleaning, right? But I would expand my target a little. All right, I believe that is it. I have answered all of the questions. So yes, 3 days to get the additional 50% off, $247. Please write this off. Write off the $137.50. You have the 3 days. You'll get the emails with the replay and to remind you of the payments that you can make, to remind you of the 3 days, because you only have the 3 days and then that's it. Now people pay the $497, you can, but why when you can pay the $247? So I want to thank everybody. I want you all to know that what you're doing is absolutely phenomenal. Again, people have these ideas and they sit on them, but you're trying to manifest your desire to help somebody else. And I believe you will be rewarded for it. So I want to thank you. I know you could have been elsewhere other than with me. So thank you so much. Again, my name is Linda Peavy, and I am the owner of LaPav Consulting LLC and creator of the course Grant Writing for Non-Writers, Keys to Winning Grant Proposals. I want to wish you all a blessed and a safe, and a peaceful and a prosperous and a renewed Christmas holiday season. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. And happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa. Bye-bye.